Testing.
Hi guys, we're going to give people just a second to get in here. There we go. Hello, Packers fans. Welcome to PackersNews.com. I'm Kassidy Hill here from MetLife Stadium. It, of course, looks a little different. It is incredibly windy, so we are up in the press box today, but got the city behind us, field before us, and kickoff about an hour and a half away here in New York, New Jersey, however you want to think about it, East Rutherford, as the Packers get ready to take on the New York Giants. The Packers have announced their inactives, so let's go over those. Quay Walker, Christian Watson, Jair Alexander, Kai Blue Kelly, Aaron Jones, Caleb Jones will all be inactive tonight. Some of those we already knew they were expected. Christian Watson was pretty much guaranteed to be out. Aaron Jones was expected, especially after Kenyan Drake was elevated from the practice squad as the game day elevation today. Aaron Jones spoke on Friday about wanting to play and hoping he could get back out there. He has come back from MCLs in the past and it only taken a couple of weeks. However, he did practice last week, but he said it was going to take a little bit of time to just fully test it. He needed to practice several days in a row and kind of see how his body took it, how his MCL took it. And he said, of course, the best way to tell is just to get hit. And that wasn't going to happen. But he did practice, of course, in that limited capacity on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or in this case, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday with a Monday night game. But as he told us on Friday, I'm not really sure. It's really going to depend a lot on how I feel on Sunday. I think he was still trying to push it because he was not declared out on Sunday afternoon when Jair Alexander was. But then when Kenyan Drake was elevated from the practice squad today, it pretty much told us that Aaron Jones would not be playing tonight, especially on a field such as this. I asked Aaron Jones on Friday, does that turf, do those field conditions, which are notoriously not great, factor any at all into the decision whether to play or not to play? And he said, not really. That doesn't affect me as much, especially with a running back. You need the speed, which turf can give you. But have to wonder if maybe it did factor into the trainer's decision at all, and the doctor's decision. So it will be A.J. Dillon's night yet again. As Michael says, best of luck, A.J. A.J. Dillon has really kind of put this running game on his back the past few weeks, especially with Aaron Jones being out. But as it gets colder, as it gets brisker, as it gets windier, and you don't want to put the ball in the air like it is here tonight, it's incredibly, incredibly windy here tonight. As it gets windier and colder, this is one of those games that A.J. Dillon can really kind of take over. And so you have to expect that they will try to keep it on the ground tonight as much as possible. But also something to take into account is that the Packers have been starting fast the past 2 or 3 weeks, and that has really made a difference in their ability to get ahead and stay ahead in these games. They have a hard time working from behind, but they've been able to score quickly on their first drive and on their second drive and just immediately build a two-score lead. And that has made all the difference in the world in these wins. And so, as much as you might want to keep it on the ground tonight, especially to keep the ball out of Saquon Barkley's hands or legs, so to speak, have to wonder if the Packers will also again come out swinging, at least on the first drive. And with that in mind, will they also take the ball if they win the coin toss? Definitely something to consider. Someone who will be on tonight is Darnell Savage. He is active. He should be on the field. Of course, he played last week as well. And then Anthony Johnson Jr. came in for some different dime pieces. Then let's go to Steven's question. Do you think Dobbs will have a big night tonight? Yes, I think he will. Romeo Dobbs has been the guy that is always Christian Watson, or I'm sorry, is always Jordan Love's go-to guy. He's there when he needs him. He might not have the most catches. He's probably never going to have double-digit catches or receptions in a night like Christian Watson could as he gets more and more comfortable. But he's there for the big ones when you need him. As we said last week, he gets those dirty yards through the air. A.J. Dillon gets the dirty yards on the ground. Romeo Dobbs gets the dirty yards in the air. And really, his catch to touchdown ratio is insane. And so, he's there when you need a big play and he's there when you need a score. So, yes, I do expect Dobbs to have a big night, especially with Christian Watson being out. As we said, that's another inactive is Christian Watson. And then someone who was not inactive is Samari Torre. Samari has been on the inactives list the past couple of weeks, so him not being on there tonight probably has a lot to do with Christian Watson being out. They want that extra receiver out there on the field. Ian asked, do you think we will see much of Drake running back? Ian, that's an interesting question because without Aaron Jones, you have A.J. Dillon and Patrick Taylor. Last week it was James Robinson who was the third running back, and he only got one carry, and then he had one target. It wasn't even a reception. So that's what the role I would assume Kenyan Drake would be in. But the difference between Kenyan Drake and James Robinson is that Kenyan Drake is more one, he's got a lot more NFL experience. He used to be a very, very good running back for the Miami Dolphins. Two, he has experience in this system. And so he's a lot more familiar with it. That's something that Matt LaFleur even talked about on Friday. The ability for Kenyan Drake to play a lot more, a lot sooner because he is familiar with this system already in this offense. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see him getting 6-7 touches tonight. Maybe just to kind of, especially if the game is already in hand, give Kenyan Drake some of those touches and see how he handles them. But then again, you also have to remember he's here because Aaron Jones is out. So he's not – I don't think Kenyan Drake is a long-term solution for the Packers at running back. Mark asked, how is Wicks this evening? He is quickly becoming my favorite. You and Tom Silverstein both. He is both of y'all's guy. He should be fine. He has completely cleared concussion protocol. He has no other issues. Didn't have any lingering issues, it looked like, last week. And so I would expect him to be fine. I've not seen him out there in warm-ups yet. He could be out there, but I have not seen him yet. Steve asked, why hasn't the NFL made the Giants fix the turf? Steve, so apparently they did change to a new turf this offseason. But what you still have an issue with when it comes to turf in the cold is that the condensation sets on it, and then when it gets colder and it starts becoming icy, it turns a field into an ice skating rink, essentially. If you think about it, most turf fields that you can think of are indoors. And so that's always the debate, can you grow grass in an indoor stadium? You can. But the turf outdoors in the Northeast in December, it's not freezing here tonight. The temperature's in the low 40s. Like I said, it's mostly the wind that's causing it to become cold. But it's just simply the elements, that can cause this field, this turf, to really become dangerous. And in the past, it was also just in bad shape. There was a time the 49ers had like six injuries in a game here. And so it's never been a great field, but apparently they did switch the turf this offseason. Jerry asked, were the Packers able to slow Saquon Barkley last year in London? Jerry, to be honest, I can't quite remember. But if you remember, what also really kind of hurt them last year in London was Daniel Jones and his running ability and his scrambling ability. So what do they have in I always want to say Danny DeVito. What do they have in Tommy DeVito? Can they slow him down? And I don't think he's going to be near as much of a scramble threat. The biggest thing you have to do is make sure that this game doesn't become a Saquon Barkley game and make DeVito beat you through the air. And then you've got a rookie quarterback who's only played in like 2 or 3 games. Tee up your pass rush and go after him. If you're forcing the ball in his hand as a passer, you're Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Kenny Clark, Kingsley Enagbare should be able to get to him. Willie says, how do you see the defense tonight? It's going to come down to what they do against Saquon Barkley. In the past, when they have really focused in on a dynamic runner, they've been able to slow them down. But you can't play off because he's going to just run it straight up the middle with grass. He's always going to get 1 or 2 off a game, almost like Derrick Henry. Even if you slow him down, he's going to get at least 1. Can you minimize the damage is really the question there. Sorry about that. So we've got about a little over an hour here to kick off. Just go over the inactives one more time. Quay Walker, but Isaiah McDuffie has been playing lights out in both he and Devondre Campbell's plays. So Quay Walker will not be on the field. Christian Watson, Jair Alexander, who's still dealing with that shoulder. He told us on Friday, it's just when you're a corner, you can play through a lot of pain. He could play through the pain in his back. He could play through the pain in his groin once it was recovered, but he still had pain. But he could play through that. When you're a corner, it's hard to play through shoulder because you need that mobility up here to get your hand in for a pass breakup. But no Jair Alexander, no Kaibu Kelly, Aaron Jones, or Caleb Jones. Darnell Savage will be active. And then we will have full coverage for you here from MetLife Stadium. Spoon will have his blog starting in about 45 minutes here, which will be half an hour before the game. And then we'll have full coverage for you throughout and after the game as well. So stay tuned to PackersNews.com for that. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time.